Okay, YouTube, I am back, as I said in the deck profile video. Now, this is my Monarch deck. My Super Smexy Monarch deck that I've been playing for like a week, and it's been doing really good. Well, I've been playing it for more than that, but I've been playing on DN. I've only played it in one actual tournament once. But I am here to talk about some of the plays and situations that a player who's playing this deck can get in. Like, let's take a scenario here. Okay. We open up Mr. Swap Frog. Okay, so we got him. We got Swap Frog, Drag, Maxi. Let's say we opened up a Ryza, because I always open up Ryza. And then we opened up... where's Econ? There it is. So we have those are 5. And then our draw, say, is... Hey, let's see. It's a lad. So we got a pretty busted hand here. Okay, so this is your draw. Now, this is, like, say you're going first. Then I'll say what you do if you're going second. So you, obviously we opened up pretty busted. From the get-go, we have a lad play instantly if they summon a face-up monster, because we have our swap. So the first thing we'd obviously do would be summon Swap Frog, ask for a response, most likely send our Treeborn, then bounce to the hand. So now we have our 6 cards still in hand. Now our opponent either assumes we have Gores, or they don't think you have Gores, because everybody at my locals knows that I only run the Gores and double trag, so sometimes they assume I don't have them. But, okay, so this is what we have. Say, lo and behold, your opponent summons a Thunder King. You're like, okay. Now, they attack you. The question is, do you want to drop trag? The answer to that question is no. Because even though dropping an early game trag would be fantastic right now, your options that you have in your hand, along with the Maxi, which will fuel trag again after you use some cards, is too good to give up. So say they set a back row and end. You're like, okay. Draw your card. Say you draw the MST, because I draw MST a lot. You go, stand by phase, MST their back row. They're like, okay, Sayo's a warning. You summon that Treeborn Frog. Now the question is, do you go straight for the lad play, or you go for the Ryza play? What I like to do is I like to go for the Ryza play first. So I have a decent target for lad if Ryza gets killed. So, plus, making it so your opponent doesn't draw is key. So you summon the Ryza, send back their card, and whatever. They probably set it next turn. So then you go draw. It doesn't matter what you're drawing at this point, because at this point in time, you're dropping lad. Because this play is devastating, because after they waste all their cards to get rid of this thing, now you have a Ryza, a Trag, a Maxi. Like, you can Maxi them too after they because lad wouldn't get it, but, you know when to Maxi, pretty much. So basically, they're going to have to deal with the 24 beat stick, and you can take their stuff. So it's just like, whatever. So that's a great play I like to do. Then say you open up, no way to get Treeborn and Frog, but you open up Tengu. And say you open up Brokenness, and you open up these cards again, in this, like, with a Tengu. Oh, whatever, you drew this again. You summon the Tengu, and unfortunately you'd have to say go. What I like to do then is I'd go, so you have that Tengu on the board. They're most likely going to kill it with something, because Tengu is, like, not too good by himself. You never set this card, unless it's, like, desperate, because this card's just too good. So, they kill it, and then you, summon your Tengu, and you draw the MST their back row. Now the question is, do you go Econ, take their monster, then lad them, or Ryza them again? The usual answer I do to this question is I usually Ryza them again instead of ladding them, because I don't like summoning lad without a decent target in the grave. Like, Tengu is a decent target, But, like, if my opponent said... Well, if my opponent had no back row, then I'd do it. If they had one back row after I MST'd, then I wouldn't do it. Because I always am paranoid of warning. So that's... Then the right time to max C. The right time to max C is to A, when you have a trag in your hand and you need to draw like crazy or else you're going to die. And B is when your opponent is... You predict your opponent is going to try to trish you. Debris Dragon, obviously, you do that because they're going to attempt to trish you, like Librarian plays, obviously. That's an obvious. Now, the question is, if you draw these, which one do you play first? If they have a set card, this. They don't have a set card, this. Because they can summon Stardust Dragon, and then this is dead. I like to save this for the synchros, so they minus when I send it back. So yeah. Like those, I don't want to keep this video too long, but also the time to enemy controller is A, when you want to push for damage. Like sometimes I take Thunder Kings and then push for damage, then main phase 2 sack, because they're not going to want to deprison their own Thunder King, and then when I tribute, they're like, oh, why? And so it's just like, yeah. Like, this card is to force either a negate or just, like, push for damage, or lad plays. That's why I like this so much. Then, okay, I've been asked this a lot by my friends, and they ask me, when do you summon Valor to make a 4-mil synchron? Like, okay, I see this a lot when people just summon Valors when they should have kept them, trying to be greedy and to draw. But honestly, there's a time to do it and a time to not. I have to keep in mind, especially since I'm playing Monarchs, that once I normal summon this, my Monarchs, I can't summon the turn. So I either have to have an existing Monarch already on the field, or a way to take their monster and then synchro, or else I'm going to minus. Like, because Valor is too good not to keep, but yeah. In the drop Gores play, I usually drop Gores as early as possible, especially during game 1, because dropping that Gores early on in the game puts in a tremendous amount of pressure on your opponent, because they kept warning it. They're only out as Dark Hole or Scrap Dragon or something weird. And just overall, it's really good to do. Usually I can... sometimes I will actually, as soon as I summon the Gores, I'll sack it for Lad, or just attack first, then sack for Lad, because... Well, actually, no, probably just sack for Lad, because Lad, like, they're going to be like, oh, now I have to negate, I have to force negates, and then I have to kill the Lad, and they're just going to get a 27s, which is like, yeah. So that's the video, guys. I'm going to end it here so it's not too long for you. Even though it's like 8 minutes, I ramble on a lot, but whatever. Yeah, I'm going to make another video, like, right now, so bye.